Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler,
You can't handle the truth!
Graham,
The force is strong in this way.
and Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Gaming Hub. This is episode number 123. I'm your host Tyler, and I'm joined today by Steven. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm pretty good. We're here. This is a patron timed exclusive episode where we're going to talk about kind of a fall preview type of episode, and we're not going to hit on every single game that's coming out this fall, but we're going to touch on 6 that we're really looking forward to, and we know our community is really looking forward to. So we'll just kind of preview those and kind of get this idea on the heels of all the excitement around Spider-Man and playing that and just loving that game. So sitting down to do this episode and talk about, 6 of the biggest games coming out this fall. And I think we'll touch on 7 of them because we're going to kind of lump 2 together. But so we're excited about that. And if you're a patron, this episode will be available on Sunday, the 9th of September. And if you're not a patron, you'll still get to hear it. It'll just be available as episode 123 about 8 or 9 days later. So Steven, let's talk real quick about how people can join in our community and all that stuff, and then we'll get into the game. So you can join in the community by going to Facebook. Look up the Gaming Hub forums there and click join. And you can also go to Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. Make sure you hit follow when you're there. From either of those places, you'll get a link to our Discord, and that's probably the best place to communicate with everybody in the community. We get some good conversation going there. All of our community play events are sort of run through Discord as well. So you can get that link through either Twitch or Facebook. If you want to help support the community, if you want to get these types of episodes as soon as they're available, you can go to Patreon, patreon.com/gaminghub, and get those episodes right away. Otherwise, they will come out as timed exclusives. And we do have some content that is purely patron exclusive. We talk about some other things, movies, things like that. But anything video game related will pretty much always come out for everybody. It just might be a timed exclusive for patrons. So, all right, let's jump right in, Steven. So I'm gonna let you go first. So is there? Actually, no, I'll go first.
Yeah, you should go
Yeah,
first.
I'm going to go first because we're going to go in order of release here. And I want to talk Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and that's coming out on this coming Friday or last Friday if you're listening later. It'll be on the 12th of September. So I figure we can get in a good discussion here. Steven, you're not excited about this game at all. And
That would be correct.
Yeah, it's too bad Graham's not here because he really enjoys these games, and I'm kind of with him. I had a great time with Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's one of my favorite games on this generation. But why are you not looking forward to Shadow?
Because I haven't beat Rise, I guess would be the easiest
Okay.
answer. And I enjoyed Tomb Raider. I did the first one, like the remaster, the start of the trilogy, whatever you want to call it. But like my enjoyment was mostly with the story exploration and like the tomb puzzles, but I don't enjoy the gunplay. It's the same issue I have with Uncharted, and the reason I haven't made it super far in those games either is like the gunplay kind of is boring, and it kind of takes away from everything else, and that's like the biggest reason. And like towards the end of Tomb Raider, I stopped doing the extra tombs because I was like, okay, I want to beat the game, and I did beat it. So pat myself on the back for that. But I don't know. I started Rise of the Tomb Raider immediately after, and I don't know what it was. If I was just burned out, tired of playing Tomb Raider or whatever, I stopped after the first mission, and I've been meaning to start it back up and play it. I just haven't, and because I haven't played it is part of the reason I'm not going to be playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider on its release, because I want to play Rise first to get the story, and that's basically it. It's mostly the gunplay and the action.
Okay, and I can go with that because I don't think they have the greatest gunplay in the entire world. But I thought the story, especially in Rise, kind of overcame that and made it well worth playing. Sort of the same issue I have with like Fallout, things like that. I don't love the gunplay in Fallout. And I've been, we've been spoiled. Excuse me. We've we've gotten used to the shooting mechanics in games like Destiny. That's something they do very well. For all of Destiny's faults, they do shooting very, very well. Call of Duty, even Battlefield, Halo, stuff like that. So we've kind of been spoiled, and when you get something that's not quite as smooth as that, it does take away, or it can take away from the experience a little bit. So I get that. That said, I'll definitely be picking this game up on release and look forward to jumping in and kind of, this is the finish of the story, I believe. I think they've said this is a trilogy and there's not going to be like a fourth Tomb Raider game, that this is it. So I'm looking forward to finishing the story and kind of seeing how it all ends up, because I thought Rise really forwarded the story quite a bit and made Lara Croft a very compelling character. So,
all right, maybe I'll be in the mood to go to Rise when Shadow comes out, because that's kind of what happened when Rise came out, or at least when Rise was like on sale, was when I played through the first Tomb Raider, because I bought Rise of the Tomb Raider like the like Game of the Year edition when it was like $20 during one of the sales, and I'm like, okay, I need to beat Tomb Raider so I can play this. But then I did beat Tomb Raider and I didn't play Rise. So maybe when Shadow is $20 for the Game of the Year edition, I'll pick it up and play Rise, and then never play Shadow.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's been the theme.
Yeah. So I don't think they did themselves any favors with the demos they showed off at E3. Like, the game looks gorgeous, but man, it was just like, how many times can you just like jump out of a tree and take someone out? I mean, because that's all it was.
Yeah, so, and honestly, I'd enjoy the game more if it was almost exclusive bow play. Like, I enjoy shooting people with the bow because it's silent, and I like being silent and sneaky. And actually, Shadow does seem more like silent assassin type than any of the other games before it. But again, I won't play Shadow without playing Rise, and I just haven't been in the mood to play Rise. So
yeah, I think you really enjoyed Rise if you play it. So anything else on Tomb Raider before we move on? But it is available Friday, September 12th. Friday's becoming a release date for everybody now. It used to be mostly Nintendo, but now everybody's kind of doing it. So, but yeah, it's available this coming week, and I know I'll be picking it up. So anything else on that before we move on to the next game, which is all you?
Yeah, and the reason I said the silent assassin type was the segue there. And so no, I don't have anything else on Shadow. And moving on, we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which comes out on the 2nd of October. For those of you who are huge Assassin's Creed fans, I know Assassin's Creed Origins got really high reviews from a lot of people, and people really enjoyed it. Again, it wasn't. I wanted to love it, and I didn't. And it kind of frustrated me that I didn't. And I don't know what it was about it. I think it was because it went into the more swordplay action-y rather than like sneaking off on rooftops and jumping down and assassinating people and running away. That was my favorite part. And that's why I really love like Assassin's Creed. I love the Ezio trilogy. And I beat every game in that trilogy. And I don't think Assassin's Creed's captured the magic for me like it has for some people with Origins, but the timeline of Odyssey is what's going to get me to play this game. I love Greek mythology, and I love just the Greek time period, and that is what this game is. It looks amazing. Everything that was in Origins is basically coming back in Odyssey. It's a direct sequel in a way. And I don't know, I'm excited for this game. However, I think you're with me here. It's not a game I'm going to be buying on day one.
Correct. Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. So here's my thing with Assassin's Creed. Like, every year they show it at E3. Well, not every year, and I think it's a good thing now that they're starting to have off years in there, because I think we saw, like, Origins, love it or not, a lot of people loved it, though. And I actually enjoy watching people play it. The game looks fantastic, and every year at E3, it's like, oh, this looks so amazing, I'm going to get this. And then when I do get it, I'm kind of like, there's just other stuff I'd rather play. It's not that the game's not good, it's just there's other stuff I'd rather play. So this year, like, for me personally, I'm not giving a recommendation of wait on it, because a lot of people in our community are really excited for Odyssey. But for me personally, I'm going to wait on it. There's a brief window in January and up to February 22nd, where I can get caught up on some games. And that might be when I give Odyssey a go. We'll see if it's in the holiday sale on Xbox or PlayStation and go from there. But I know a lot of people are really fired up for this game, and they should be because it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I don't have that long of a window. I only have from basically just January.
Yeah.
Depending on how long Smash Bros. Keeps me. But I think this is a game I'll look to get on the Black Friday sale. It's almost always on sale during Black Friday.
Yep.
Just in the past, if anything would go by for $40, and it's very possible I pick it up before. It just depends on how much like I'm needing a new game for the little 3-week window I have starting at the beginning of October.
And really, we have a longer window than that. But my thought isn't Smash Bros. It's more like how much is Red Dead Online going to grab us?
Nah.
Stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Fallout 76, things like that.
Yeah.
That come out late October, early November. Plus Battlefield comes out now on November 20th. So it's, and we'll get to that. But yeah, I just feel like for me, it's the right thing to do to wait for Assassin's Creed. I could drop $60 on it, but man, I don't even think I would touch it until after it came down to 40. So, it's not a recommendation to wait. Like I said, if you're excited about it, get it because it looks awesome. Just for me personally, probably not going to get it on day one. All right.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So let's move on. And here's a game I know we're going to get on day one because we have Xbox Game Pass. And it's free with Game Pass. So, Forza Horizon 4. Now, Steven, I feel like we can have a good discussion about this game because you are a much bigger fan of the Horizon series. And I'm a bigger fan of the mainline Forza games. So, what draws you to Horizon more?
I used to be a fan of the mainline games. I liked them. It's just I prefer the off-roading aspects in Horizon 4. I think it's fun to drive on dirt, snow, in the water, all the different what is the word here? Terrain. There we go. All the different terrain that's available in Forza Horizon, the series. And 3 did a wonderful job of mixing the terrain up. There were races where it was like all terrain, where you basically would drive through the desert, jungle, water, snow, all of that in one race. And I just enjoy that more. I like not being constrained to the track. I find track racing a bit boring. I mean, it's cool, like racing on Nürburgring, which I think I pronounced that right. And some of the other big tracks, and it looks great, but the mainline Forza games just kind of get boring quickly, whereas the Horizon series, it's a little more like casual, but at the same time, the technical aspects are still there. And I actually think it's harder in some ways because driving on dirt is harder than driving on roads. And just I love like drifting around the dirt and stuff. So I don't know. I just really love the Horizon game.
Well, first of all,
Series.
Let me ask you, do you think there's a game that better showcases what the Xbox machine can do visually than Forza? I think those games are probably the best looking games every single year.
Yeah.
So, and 7 was no different.
Yeah,
like,
Forza 7 looked great.
Yeah, I remember seeing that when they did the 4K reveal at E3 in 2017. Man, I was blown away by that. That and Assassin's Creed were the two that were like, yep, Xbox One X is pre-ordered today or whenever I could. But I'll say this for Horizon. I had a ton of fun with 3. And I even bought the DLC for it because it was just that it grabbed me that much and it got me into playing. Here's what I love about 4. That the map is honestly gigantic. Not because the map itself is gigantic, but with the dynamic seasons, you can race the same track in 4 different types of weather that are going to completely change what that track is in each time you do it.
Yeah, I'm just curious how they're going to like do the time. Like, is it going to change I think changing every like 15 minutes would be cool. I almost wonder if that's a little too fast. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how quickly the seasons change. Because
Like,
if it's based on like time of day, if they split it up by
Yeah.
4-6 hour periods, like most people are gonna race at the same season every time because most people play at the same time
Yeah.
every time.
Sure.
So I think that'd be a mistake. An hour would probably be fair. I think half hour
Yeah.
would be the best.
I think an hour probably, half hour maybe. They'll figure out how to break it up, and I'm sure they've taken that into account. At least I hope so. I feel like the only thing I'm worried about is I don't want seasons to change like mid race. Like it's okay if it starts raining, but I don't want to start out on like a sunny day, and all of a sudden be having it turn into ice by the end of like a 5-minute race. You know?
That would be awesome, Tyler.
Yeah. So, because you're gonna select car and etc. based on that type of stuff. You know, at least the really hardcore players will. The people that have like 80% of the cars in the game, which I've never had. I don't know if I'll put enough time on it this year, just with everything else coming out. But I definitely will play this game quite a bit, and
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm hoping Forza Horizon will be the game I come back to when I don't know what to play. Because most people have like the game they go to. A lot of times it's a sports title. And
Yep.
I'm hoping Forza will be that, where like, I only have 30 minutes to play. I don't really want to do something story wise. All right, Forza it is. Gonna get a couple races in, or I'm just bored and
Yep.
again don't feel like doing anything. Gonna drive around. I'm excited.
You're absolutely right. It's a great type of game just for that. Like if your time is pretty limited, it doesn't require a lot of time, and that's the difference sometimes between Horizon and the mainline games. Although the mainline games have done a much better job at, I remember like was it Forza 3 back on the like 360 or 360? I almost said PS3, but it's exclusive. So on the 360, where man, there were some races that were like 50 minutes long. And I would race and get in like first place and get to where I had lapped everybody once or twice. And then I'd basically just set it on like simulation or whatever, where it just does the driving for you. And I would set it down. I literally one day like went and mowed the lawn while a race was going on and came back and got the XP.
Yeah.
So
that was my issue too with
Yeah.
some of the later, especially later in the campaign, or whatever you want to call it, the career mode
sure.
of the mainline games. The races
Yeah.
were just obnoxiously long.
Yeah, and they've fixed a lot of that. That really doesn't exist anymore. There are some that are, a decent chunk of time, but that's like, 12 minutes ish. The days of like the hour-long races are in the past because, most players don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right.
So we're both getting it day one. And let me ask you this: would you buy it day one if it wasn't part of Game Pass?
Probably.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I probably would.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So,
And I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
right. So definite recommendation for us. Forza Horizon 4 looks fantastic. So Steven, go ahead. We're going to talk about 2 games in one here.
Yeah. Cause it's kind of either or for most people. And that is between COD Blops 4. That was for Graham. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or Battlefield 5. COD releases on the 12th of October. And Battlefield 5 releases now on the, 23rd of November?
I think it was the 20th, but I might. It's the 20th. It comes out the Tuesday right before Thanksgiving in the U.S.
All right, there you go. So the 20th then. Apologize for messing that up, but yeah. I know which one I prefer, and I know which one Graham prefers, and those of you who listen to our show know which one we both fall on. I'm more of a Call of Duty fan. Graham's a Battlefield fan, and Tyler probably leans Battlefield. And he'll tell you.
Yeah, I do. I lean towards Battlefield. I've had a lot of fun with some of the Call of Duty games. And to be honest, like the ones I've had the most fun with online, other than Call of Duty 4, which I loved and I played a ton of online, is the Black Ops series. Like I've loved the Black Ops series forever. Like that Nuketown map. Like I loved it when they finally just gave in and created like the Nuketown playlist where you just played Nuketown over and over and over. Like that was the best. At that time, I was working overnights, and my schedule was I would work like 4 consecutive days, and then I had 4 consecutive days off. So, like, I would just sit up throughout the night because I didn't want to flip my sleep schedule all the time. So, I would just sit up at night and play Call of Duty Black Ops and do Nuketown for like hours on end, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this a go. Give Call of Duty a go. I know I'm gonna want to play Battlefield, and we played the beta. We talked about it on episode 121, which we just posted today before we recorded this. But you know, we all had pretty positive impressions of the beta, what we saw. Now we don't see all the maps and we don't see all the modes, so it's hard to like give a complete recommendation one way or the other. But you know, with all the, I guess, controversy around Battlefield this year, like, still, when you get it in your hands and you play it, it's still fun. It's Battlefield. And yeah, Steven, I agree with what you said on the show. Like, the gameplay seems fairly similar to what we saw in Battlefield 1. Like, the guns are a little more precise. They should be. And stuff like that. But I like the map design of what we saw in the beta. And, you know, I'm looking forward to giving this a go and seeing what it's all about. So, and Call of Duty, you know you're going to get good map design. You know you're going to get good gunplay and all that stuff. So, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, and I'm more excited for Call of Duty because I just am a bigger Call of Duty fan. Smaller maps, little more arcadey in a little ways. I think the gunplay is better though. People might disagree. And also for me, who is colorblind, Call of Duty is easier game than Battlefield because there are times where I can't see a person because their camo blends in too much because I can't I can't see the different shades of white, for instance, on a snowy map. So I don't know if that's part of the reason I'm not a huge Battlefield fan, but I'm more excited for Call of Duty. The battle royales don't really thrill me for either game, and Call of Duty gets points taken away from me from not having a campaign. I don't love that.
Did you always play the campaign?
No, but yes, I always started it. I never finished most of the ones in the last, since Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was probably the last campaign I finished.
So I'll tell you the only one that I haven't finished. Actually, there's 2 campaigns I didn't finish. I didn't finish World at War. Kind of going back. So what, 08 or whatever.
I never played that game.
Yeah, World at War was good online. It was very good online. No, I didn't finish the campaign for it, though. And I did not finish, actually, Black Ops 3.
Yeah,
so maybe I'm partly to blame for why we don't have a campaign in 4.
Potentially. So I guess I really can't take points off if I'm also a reason if I don't play it. But
yeah,
I think Call of Duty's Battle Royale is more tailored towards Call of Duty fans, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're combining all like people's favorite maps into one hodgepodge, whatever you want to call it, type Battle Royale map. Like that's pretty cool, and that's like fan service gets said in kind of a negative connotation, but I think in this case it's a good thing to have fan service. It shows that the company actually knows what their fans like. Yeah. And so, you know, those people that I think there's going to be a lot of people that switch to Call of Duty that are COD fans from Fortnite or PUBG to play Call of Duty's Battle Royale because they're more invested per se.
And I think probably more so, I think PUBG's probably going to hurt more from it than Fortnite. Just there's a lot of reasons. We talked about it on the show before. You know, Fortnite's free. I think the player base is a little different.
Yeah, but if I had to, I'd put Fortnite more in the same gameplay as Call of Duty and PUBG with Battlefield.
I would too, but even where you work, you shared, I don't know if it was on the show or when we were just talking offline, but like you shared a story where you work, you were asking a kid if he was going to get Call of Duty because they had Battle Royale.
Whoa. I didn't ask. He brought it up.
Oh, he brought it up.
I just want to make that. He was like, did you see Call of Duty's like getting a Battle Royale? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, but the game's $60. And I'm like, yeah, every game is $60. And I'm talking to a third grader at that point, and I'm like, you shouldn't be playing Call of Duty. You're the reason I stopped playing Call of Duty.
Right.
Honest, but in my head, but yeah, I'm not saying the kids will switch. I'm saying like some of the the bigger, like more, or the adults might.
Yeah, I can see that, especially if the mode launches really smoothly, no problems.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I think it's one of those things where they might have one shot to get it right, though. And the one I worry about more there is Battlefield when it comes to releasing a game without issues.
Oh yeah.
They have a pretty good track record of kind of messing things up at launch. So as far as connectivity goes and that type of thing. So I'm a little concerned about them getting out a game that actually works and gets people invested right away. And do we know yet whether or not, I assume now that Battle Royale mode, or Firestorm they're calling it,
Yeah.
for Battlefield will launch with the game. Now that they've delayed the game till November 20th. So, because I know originally it was going to be like later, but I've not seen confirmation on that one way or the other, but I'm kind of assuming that it will.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And
Actually, I don't care, but I hope so for your guys' sake.
We're gonna make you play it, and you will have fun.
No.
So, it's all right. Anything else on those two?
No. But let us know in Discord or Facebook or whatever, email, whatever you want to communicate with us, which one you'll be getting, which one you're more excited for, or if you're going to get both.
Okay. So let's talk about a game that, man, shockingly, only 2 of the 3 hosts on our show is getting, and that is Red Dead Redemption 2. Although Graham did start talking a little bit like he was going to get it, a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of got that too.
So the window's open. We don't know. I can't say anything bad about this game of everything we've seen so far, except that it's not out yet. What are your thoughts? What are you most looking forward to? Obviously, this is a day one purchase for both of us. We've made that clear on the show. But what specifically makes it that for you? Because we're already putting this in Game of the Year contender category.
It's honestly just my enjoyment of the first Red Dead Redemption, like how much I loved that game. I didn't buy it day one. A lot of my friends I was playing with at the time did though, and they I was sitting there. I remember I was playing Tiger Woods PGA Tour, and they were sitting there playing Red Dead and playing online, and I was in the party and I felt like so left out because they were having a blast, and I was sitting there playing golf. And so I bought the game finally, and they stopped playing online, which annoyed me a little bit because it did take me like a month to get the money together. I was in high school at the time, but I played the campaign and I absolutely adored the game. There was so much to do. The missions were all awesome. The story was great. I actually cared about the main character and his struggle per se. The gameplay was fun. And Rockstar has this track record of making fun games that I really enjoy. I beat GTA 5 as well. GTA 5 it's not the same game, but it's also part of the reason it's day one purchase. It's just all of that. Like, I hope they bring back Liar's Die. It's the greatest mini game other than Gwent. But I just enjoyed the game. I like, and I love Westerns.
Yes.
Westerns are some of my not guilty pleasure movies because I don't feel guilty about watching them, but I can almost always watch a Western, whether it be like a comedy or a serious one. They're entertaining. The time period interests me and all that. So I'm super excited to get back in the world. Yeah.
I think too that when Westerns are done very well, and I don't want to get into a movie discussion, but when Westerns are done very well, they're some of the best movies out there. Unforgiven still stands up today. And you look at Django Unchained from Tarantino, is very much Western in a lot of ways. What
was that? That didn't sound like. Django.
Yeah. Very much a Western in a lot of ways. And even Hateful Eight had some elements of that. But when Westerns are done well, we talked about Magnificent Seven today, earlier, and then movies like 310 to Yuma, etc. So when Westerns are done well, it's some of the best storytelling out there, and same applies to games. When it's done well, there's so much good stuff to kind of get at there. And Rockstar hit it out of the park with the first one, and really it was the second one. nobody talks about the first Red Dead.
Well,
But-
Red Dead Revolver is not in the same storyline, and Red Dead
No, it's
Revolver was
not.
made by a different company, and it wasn't
Yeah,
great.
I know, but I have no reason to think this game's not going to be completely freaking amazing. This the last 2 games Rockstar has published have been, Game of the Year contenders, if not winners. GTA 5 has sold 1 billion copies, whatever it is at this point. What, 60, 70 million, something like that.
An insane amount.
Yeah,
They're
it's
they
just
lead
stupid.
sales for
Yeah.
a game that isn't Tetris, I think.
Yeah. I also feel that they've learned so much from GTA 5's online that they're going to be able to apply to Red Dead Online and make that just a really comprehensive online experience that's going to be really fun for lots of different types of players. So I'm looking forward to that. And just all the stuff you can do in the world, even in just single player. You don't have to just hammer through the story in a very linear way. You can go do a lot of side things. You can basically do whatever you want. And it's a type of game where you can easily get distracted and go off you can intend to do the story mission. Then you're like, oh, there's this. Let's go look at this. And then 4 hours later, you're like, oh yeah, I was going to do this story mission.
Yeah.
So games like that are great. And we were kind of talking about that with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's kind of the same way. So
A little bit.
yeah.
There was an article on CNET about
Mhm.
worries about Red Dead Redemption 2, and it was basically they're gonna forget what it's been a minute since I read it, but it was along the lines of Rockstar might miss all the reasons people enjoyed Red Dead Redemption, the first one, so
Mhm.
much, and kind of make some mistakes. Do you feel the same way, or did you
Well,
read that article?
I didn't, but I remember saying to you, I have one concern about Red Dead. And that's that it's going to get a little too RPG for me, personally. Because there's so much stuff they're trying to do. This is a super ambitious game.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I know Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild is great. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be. I want it to be like the first Red Dead, just better with more stuff to do. That's what I want. I don't want it to be like Fallout in the Old West. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So that's my only concern. How about you? Do you have any concerns with it?
I that article made me worried a little bit, or it brought up some valid concerns. And yeah, I am a little concerned. The trailers I've seen all look great. It's gonna look amazing. It's probably gonna be well written and funny and enjoyable. The gameplay will be fine, but I could see parts that drag a little bit. They're trying to do too much with the camping stuff. That if you don't do it, it kind of hurts your experience. But if you do it, it might get boring. And that's the only concern. But I still think this game has the potential to get 10s across the board.
Yeah, I feel like one thing Rockstar does super well is they're really good at making deep games that are still pretty simple.
Yes.
And that's a hard mix to kind of find, but they found it. They found the right formula for that. So I hope they just improve on that here, which I have no reason to think they won't. So they have a great track record, and I have no reason to think this is going to be anything except amazing. And like I said, we both kind of got it down as probably a Game of the Year. It's going to be a Game of the Year finalist, almost without question. Whether or not it wins against God of War, we'll see.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do you want to hit on the next one?
I do. So the next one is a game, again, Graham, if Graham was here, would be all over us trying to talk about, and that's Fallout 76. It releases on November 14th, and it's the first foray for Bethesda into the world of online gaming, and they kind of started by making a pseudo MMORPG.
Yeah.
And that's just for Graham again, but a pseudo MMORPG, with it's always online, and you're you're in a world with other players, and those players can affect things that are going on in the world. And it's interesting to see how it'll be done. I'm not excited for the game, but there are some concerns I have, of course, and I think you share some of those. So let's get your thoughts on.
Yeah, I have concerns, and basically it's this: that the first time companies go into this type of game, it's generally pretty buggy, and Bethesda is well known for bugs anyway. In their games, they even joked about it during their E3 show this year. So they don't hide from it. They know they released some pretty buggy games. But we've seen it. We saw it with The Division. We saw it with Destiny. And I'm not comparing those games, but those games are an online experience where you connect with other players and go do things. That's very much what Fallout's about. I worry that, that there might be some hiccups out of the gate, and I worry about the backlash that could exist from that. Not from me or you, but from part of their community. Because I think everybody's like cautiously optimistic for this game right now. There's a few that are super excited. We have people in our community that just love Fallout to death, and they're fired up for this game. But man, I feel like it's really risky. I'm going to use that. It's really risky for them to do this, and I think they'll continue to learn from it. Like, they're going out of their way to try to fix some of the potential problems with like griefing and stuff like that, which I think is fantastic. They're going to have ability to buy private servers, which I think is awesome. We're going to take advantage of that in our community. So there's a lot of really good stuff there. I just want to see how deep the game is. I hope it doesn't turn in to Destiny, where after 2 or 3 weeks, there's just like a couple things to do every week, and then eventually you get to the end game with the nukes, and then what do you do? So what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily worried about that. Fallout's games are pretty long. Okay, maybe you can get through the main missions pretty quickly, but there's a lot of side quests, and if they change that for this, I think a lot of people would be upset. Like I'd be upset if it's like lengthwise like Destiny, where you get to the end game quickly. I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be like a normal length of a Fallout game, and then like after you save the world, then you work on getting the nuke launch codes and stuff. Bethesda did a great job of like kind of making my worries go away. I was worried about player interaction and griefing, as I always am in every single online game, and I'm not anymore. I'm just excited to see what this game could do and what it's like playing Fallout with people online. If this game could also potentially be a Game of the Year candidate, I think so too. Worry about the bugs, because now you've kind of doubled up, like you just kind of alluded to, Tyler. Mm-hmm. Bethesda does have really buggy games, and just because you've never run into a bug doesn't mean the games aren't buggy for everyone else, and sometimes they're game breaking, sometimes they're not, and now you're add online to that, and that brings its own host of problems. And so there are concerns, and I think those concerns are like real and actual. You're allowed to be concerned about some of this stuff, despite what some people might say. But I don't know. I'm excited for this game. I'm almost more excited, or I'm more curious about this game than any other game that's coming out this fall.
Yeah, I'm too. I'm with you. And I'll say this: whenever I hear the word endgame involved in a console game, I'm concerned. Because console games generally aren't as deep as their PC counterparts, like PC-only games like World of Warcraft, etc. So how much content's actually going to be there? I'm going to give benefit of the doubt to Bethesda just because of their track record and what they've done in the past. In terms of content and stuff like that, I think they understand what they need to do to make their fan base happy. And I have no reason to think that they won't do that here. But that said, like all the concerns we're saying, we're both getting this game on the first day and playing it.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, it's something I'm really looking forward to. I'm more intrigued than like hyped, I guess. And I'm hoping that the level of enjoyment from people like Graham and people in our community just make it super fun for me. And I'm hoping that, we don't ruin it for them, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but I'm looking forward to giving it a go and seeing what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's hard to say it's going to be amazing because they've never done this before.
Yep. And like,
So.
I'm just another like last thing on this.
Sure.
I'm curious how the multiplayer will work. Like, drop in, drop out. Like, if I'm on a mission and if I'm playing by myself and I get like 5 missions ahead, like, am I gonna be allowed to play with you? Do we have to be on the same mission? I'm curious how that's gonna work, because it does get a little annoying when you kind of have to wait on other people because it just not everyone's schedules. Like, we all work.
I don't think that'll be a problem. I think they know that, and I want to say they've even spoken to that at some point. So I wouldn't worry about that. All right. So real quick, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna bring that up. Just real quick hits. I just want to know if you're getting it or not. So I'll just go down the list. Like Super Mario Party. Is that a thing you're interested in?
70% yes.
I'm pretty interested in. I think the mini games are fun.
Yeah.
What about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee?
70% no.
Yeah, I want to see the reviews before I buy it. And October is a busy month, but I'll be looking at it. All right, last few. Actually, just one more. Super Smash Bros.
Probably. I probably will get it. Yeah, but I think so here's the thing, like, I'm not a huge Smash Brothers fan, and mostly because I never played it, but I'm mostly probably going to get it because of the level of excitement in our community around wanting to do community events and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I'll probably get it. So we can put that stuff together.
I'll be buying it. And it's a December release, so we have... It's pretty empty what comes out around it. And so that was the 3 questions I wanted to...
You forgot the biggest one of the fall.
Just Dance 2019?
Just Dance 2019.
Yeah. I will not be buying it.
Okay.
What about you?
Probably not. I think Graham already has a pre-order.
Probably.
So, yeah. Last thing I want to throw at you, and I just thought of this, so what's going to be off the top of both our heads? Pick 5 games that you think will be Game of the Year finalists based on what we've seen from release already, or what we know about them so far for games that are upcoming.
That's not too hard.
Okay.
God of War, Fallout, Red Dead, Smash Bros, and then maybe Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, probably Spider-Man. I can't think of anything else that would go in the 5th slot.
I can. And I have to make a decision here. So God of War for sure. I think Red Dead is probably a lock unless the game just comes out totally broken and they just really lost their way somehow.
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man might make it in there. I do. I think Smash Brothers is a lock. And I think the last spot's going to be between Fallout 76 and Mario Party. And I say that because the Game Awards, and that's what we're talking about, Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Game Awards has long had a tradition of, really liking Nintendo. Nintendo does very well there. And I'm not saying they're like super biased or anything, it's just Nintendo does very well there. So, yeah. I think it'll come down to those 2. If I had to pick off of what I've seen so far, I'm going to say Fallout.
Yeah.
And,
So out of those 5, which one do you think is going to win?
Right now, if I had to bet on it, let's just say everything goes how we think it's going to go, it's going to be Red Dead 2.
I'm in agreement. But it's also possible God of War still holds on.
I mean, really, the game is absolutely Game of the Year material. So, yeah. All right. Well, if we skipped over anything that you are really excited for this fall, let us know. And you can do that by joining in our community, Facebook, the Gaming Hub forums there. You can head on over to Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub there from either one of those places. Click on the link for Discord and make sure you join the conversation there. Let us know if we missed anything that you're just really, really hyped for. So anything else, Stephen, before we get out of here? We wanted to keep this at 45 minutes-ish, and we've done that.
We have. Um,
So
yeah, no, I'm just excited for some of these games to come. And like, it's like a double-edged sword though, because as soon as those games come, it also means a way busier schedule in school, because we're now midway through the semester, so it's kind of twofold there of how much work I have to do versus how much I get to play. But no, I'm excited. It's been a great few years of gaming. Like, almost, are we in the golden age of gaming right now? I almost feel, yeah.
Everybody points back to 2007, and that was a fantastic year, but I feel like just the body of work, especially on the PlayStation and Nintendo exclusive side, has been just really strong over the last 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
And the last real good exclusives Microsoft put out were probably like Halo 5, especially the multiplayer side of it.
Yeah, and Gears 4.
And Gears 4. So, they got some work to do, but with the acquisition of 5 new studios, I think they're in good hands. So they'll have some pretty good stuff coming, the next few years.
Yep.
Anyway. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for episode number 123. Thanks so much for joining us. And if you're a patron, thank you so much for supporting the show and the community. And hope you enjoy getting to listen to this early. If you're not and you want to help support us, you can head on over to patreon.com/gaminghub and take part there. For as little as $2 a month, you get access to all the exclusive patron time exclusive stuff. And for $5 a month or more, you're entered for the giveaway of a $60 game every single month. And just your support, we appreciate more than you know. It helps us grow and do some cool things for our community and achieve the things we want to achieve. So, all right. For Steven and the absent Graham, I'm Tyler saying thanks so much for joining us. And we'll be back with normal 122 for patrons. And if you're listening and not a patron, we'll be back later in the week with number 124. Until then, everybody, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.